Claro starts with the problem of incomplete contracts in blockchains. Lane talked about wet and dry code, and there are some things that the computers cannot read. Some of contracts are incomplete, which means that you don't need humans to do anything because everything is pre-coded. But other contracts, and many contracts in particular, are that you need some human input for making them enforceable. This becomes an important thing if you think that 3 to 5% of transactions online end up in a dispute, right? And you will need some type of arbitration. And DAOs don't have a resolution system for this type of problems. So let's imagine Alice and Bob, they have a contract for a website. She sends the payment in an escrow account, and they both agree that in case there is a dispute, this is going to go to Kleros. The dispute happens. Kleros selects a jury of experts, and they're going to see the evidence, the contract, and vote on who is right. And then this says to the escrow contract, you pay Alice because you were right. Okay? Understood for now? How it works? So, how do you select jurors? That's a big question, no? And let me tell you a bit about how it used to work, of course, in Greece. And they had this concept of popular trials. Every citizen could go to be a juror in a trial, but of course, there was a very specific selection mechanism, so you could not go to the trials with your friends to help them, right? So there was a random selection of jurors. So first you went to the court, and they select you to be a juror or not. And then, after you're selected, they decided again by lot where you were going to sit, in which court, right? There's a double selection. Do you know what they used? What machine they used for this selection? Were you paying attention? Claro? Very good. Good. So this woman wants to be a jury in a dispute. She's a designer. So she needs to buy one of these tokens and deposit this token. Why is this token? Do you remember this one?
Citizenship ID.
Very well. Passport. Well done. So Kleros has many courts, and she deposits this token into like a court of websites, disputes. And so a lot of people are going to deposit the token. This is the stating, the screenshot of how it works. So the token stays staked into the court, and many people stake the token, and the token gives you the chance to be drawn randomly as juror, and some of them are going to be selected randomly, and these guys are going to be the jurors in the dispute, okay? And the token stays locked until a decision is done. So, how do you incentivize people to do a honest vote? How do you make sure that you don't have like people voting like randomly, A, B, just to collect money? And for this we use game theory. Who is this guy? Come on, this is a blockchain conference. It's Thomas Schelling. So Thomas Schelling, game theorist of the 50s and 60s, and he developed this concept of focal point. It's about how people coordinate when there is uncertainty, and when they have to make a decision independently, right? So, each of you choose a number, and if you choose the same as the majority, you get $20. Which one do you choose? So, very well. So that's the Schelling point. Any number would be like valid to choose, but we expect others to choose 1,000, so we choose that one, and so this generates like a coordinating mechanism into that number. So, if different jurors vote independently on the same dispute, knowing that they have to vote as the majority, then this creates an incentive in each of them to vote on the truth about the dispute. Good? These are some interfaces about how it works, and the jurors who vote like the majority, they get the token back, and arbitration fee, and the jurors that voted different, they lose the token that was deposited. So this creates basically a situation where users who try to abuse the system, like voting randomly, they will lose the token, they will lose money on average as they participate in more cases, and the users who make the honest work of analyzing the evidence and voting correctly, they will make money on the arbitration fee. So the vision is to create this justice system that can solve all the disputes of all the DAOs that are being created. And Kleros has a court side and an arbitrable side. Arbitrable side is where you have like DApps that have disputes and they send those disputes to Kleros, and Kleros sends back the decision about those disputes, right? This can be used for escrow transactions, and this is an interface we built for, you can create an escrow contract that is going to be solved by Kleros. You can use this now, use it for paying our contractor, for example. Then, token list. This is a token, people can send tokens to a list and other people can challenge them if they don't comply with rules, and Kleros jurors solve this in case there's a dispute. And we are pushing a kind of application of this to create a humanity list. How do you make sure that people are humans or not on the internet? So this is a project, if you're interested, it uses Kleros for making this list, and it's used tonight at what time, Stuart? We have the meeting for the humanity.
6:30.
6:30 if you want to come to the Kleros house. Many persons are going to be there to collaborate in building this. And Vitalik, this is creating something that Vitalik suggested into his talk at East New York, like a use of Kleros to create a list of humans on the internet. So if you want to come to this place and if you want to collaborate, tonight at 6:30 at Kleros house, I can show you the place later. And finally, Kleros can be used for oracles. There's a dispute about what is the right value between two parties, and Kleros can solve this problem. So this is how the Kleros ecosystem looks like now, and this is how we think it will look in the future, like when all of these other dApps connect into Kleros. So basically, is to solve the problems of the disputes of all other dApps. And this is the standard way to pitch Kleros. But there's more to this than dispute resolution, and this is what I want to tell you now. And I told you before how the Greek democracy evolved, but I didn't tell you all the story. Because, remember Cleisthenes' reforms? That he created the assembly and all that. But the democracy didn't work after he did that. You know why it didn't work? It became like a tyranny of the majority. Because the assembly was voting like laws, and it was crushing the rights of the minority. And this ended in a regime that Plato called the theatrocracy. Imagine being governed by Twitter, by the crypto Twitter, like every day, like decisions, right? That's how it worked in Athens right after the reform by Cleisthenes. And it ended up in a very hard dictatorship of the 30 tyrants that killed a lot of people, and then a restoration. And you know how Athens became actually a real democracy that actually worked? Because they made a small change in their institutions. They created some body called the Nomothetai. And this was a judiciary review for all of the assembly decrees. This is how it worked. You have the council proposing legislation to the assembly, a vote in the assembly, and then after the law was passed, it was posted in the middle of the agora, where every citizen could see it and could read it. And if they thought that this did not comply with the constitution, they could challenge it. And when they challenged it, the law went to a trial. So you had a jury of citizens that conducted a trial on the new law, like with some of them being prosecutors, other defendants, and then a jury, and a decision. So this decision could end up with the law being rejected, and it was all powered by the people. This is why very famous quote of Aristotle is: if you control the courts, you control the state, because you control what laws can be passed in your community. So, a very important use case, I imagine, in Kleros DAO governance is creating this judiciary review of all the proposals that get voted in different DAOs. But if someone comes and says, okay, let's raise the Bitcoin limit to 45 million, or something like, should X DAO invest or give money to some project? So this can be passed by the community vote. Let's say that it passes, so those who voted yes, so they have their token that stays locked into their vote, and then the community can see the law that was passed, and if they don't think that it complies with the Constitution, they can challenge that law, and this will send it to trial. Of course, to Kleros, right? And Kleros will create a jury of randomly selected users, and these guys are going to decide if this proposal is compatible or not with the DAO constitution. And there's like a trial, different parties arguing about things, and this jury is going to vote, and if you voted for the proposal in the proposal vote, and then this is overturned by the jury, you lose your deposit, right? And this is distributed to those who challenged and to the jurors who participated in the trial. So this is how I imagine Kleros to be used in the middle of all the DAO governance. John was asking before, how do we prevent from like bad laws to pass and bad votes to be done and vote buying? So if we have this layer of revision based on this rational mechanism, then this is a solution for that. So basically imagine that besides all we know about Kleros, about centralized courts or websites and that kind of stuff, I think it's going to play a very important role in what is the governance of DAOs in general, as some kind of decentralized Supreme Court as a service that you can look and then you get the decisions made, right? And the good thing about this is a Supreme Court that is going controlled by the users, right? And this is controlled by people who are in the DAO, and I think it's going to be really important to have solid governance for the blockchain. So, thank you very much.